Hi, welcome to this tutorial. For this tutorial, it's going to start off with the basics. We're going to install an IDE called Visual Studio Code. We're going to use vercel.com and Git. What we're going to do first is go to git.com. I won't bother doing that on here, but basically git.com is really that. And you create an account on there, nice and easily. Just fill in the forms. It's free. Do what you like. You can create a paid for one as well if you like, but all the difference between the two is one keeps your code private, or gives you, and the other one gives you the option to keep it. The private one has the option to make it public or private, and the other one is free, makes everything public, so you can share your code with other people. But anyway, with git.com, create an account with them, and then once you create an account with those, create an account with vercel.com, and using the Git, your Git credentials, create an account with them. Once you've done that, it should associate your Git repository automatically with Vercel, making life a lot easier later on. Okay, once you've actually got that done, so you'll have two together on there, download Visual Studio Code. Again, that's quite simple to do. If you just go to, if I can get to it, Visual Studio Code. Studio Code, download that, download. You can select the one you want, Mac, Windows, whatever you like, and download it, install it, get it up and running. And then once you've actually got it up and running, you should have, it should basically look, look like that. Okay, you want to keep the welcome window there for the minute because we'll come back to that because we'll need that link there. You have got that option in the menu as well, but it's easy for the first instance to do it from there. Okay, go back to your Visual Studio Code, create add new, click on project, clone a template. For this project we're going to use the nextJS boilerplate one. Feel free to look at all the other ones. There's loads on there to choose from, and different programming language and things like that. But for us, we're going to use this one. It's nice and neat. It's just a straightforward, empty repository. Not repository, boilerplate skin basically, and you can do what you like with it. It's really easy. Then we just call it sound-project. It's all got to be lowercase. You can put hyphens in between to space the words if you want to, but other than that, it's fine. Just hit return. That will create the project for you. Okay, it's deploying it now, as you can see there. And what this means is it's putting all the code necessary for the basic structure up to GitHub. Okay, you'll see the build logs there. If you click on that, it'll go through. It'll show you all what else going on in the background. This is quite useful because later on when we actually deploy the site after we finish doing our bit, it will show you any errors you might have. So it could show you a yellow highlighted code, which means it's depreciation or it needs updating or something like that, or it could be a complete error. You or I've done something wrong, or there could be something on there which it doesn't like, and rather than crashing on the website, it will tell you before it actually gets to the final destination. In this instance, it's been successful. As you can see, there's a screenshot of what the final result would look like. In order to see that, go down and click on continue to desktop. Okay, that shows you again. It shows you the screenshot, and this is generated to a URL there, a free one, which we can click on, and that will be the live website. As you can see, it goes straight to that one there, vercel.app, and you can see this is exactly the same as a screenshot. You can click on these, but it doesn't really. They just do the same thing as coming to this site basically. We can leave that one there for the moment. Now, on this is all very well, but it's not quite what I want to do now. Go to repository. That'll open up your Git repository, the one you created earlier, and the sound project file which is uploaded to. As you can see here, you've got a whole list of all the documents we've created, a couple of folders there, and all the documents we've created to get this website started. Click on the green code button and HTTPS there, and you see that long thing, that link, copy that URL, copied, go to the VS Code, and where you saw clone git repository link, which I pointed out earlier, click on that, and in the window paste that code, Command V. Okay, so when you do that, then just hit return, and that will start you off. Okay, at this point it'll ask you where you want the files to be saved. So just click on, mine is click on programming, sites, nextJS tutorials. Okay, select as repository destination, and it will upload it instantly before I can finish saying it. So then open it. Okay, click on the folders icon, which is like the 2 pages on top of each other, and when you hover over it, it should give a tooltip saying folders. Click on that and it'll give you a whole list of files. This at the moment won't do anything. You don't need the welcome one anymore, but click on the terminal, new terminal, and here we can rename this one there to node. Okay, it's not really necessary to do that, but I just like to keep things neat. So when you do that, it should have the, as soon as we open the project, it should open the project we just created, which is called Sound Projects. If you look in your folder now, there, go to Robert Mill, Programming, Sites, you can see there's got the Sound Project there, and it's got the files in there exactly the same as that one. Okay, so that's the sort of thing. So now we're in that one. It won't work at the moment because we've got to install its dependencies, and that's quite easy to do because you've got Node installed. Just do npm I, and that will do it. If you haven't got Node installed, that obviously won't work. What you'll have to do is go to node.com. Have I got it on there already? No, I haven't. So I'll go to node.com or nodejs.org. Okay, nodejs.org. Go to download, and then click on choose your operating system, and then download the installer and install it. That'll take quite a while, so I won't do it now. But if you need to, just pause the video, come back to me when you've actually finished downloading it. Okay, so going back to VS Code, that's actually finished doing what we want it to. There is installed all the packages we need. As you can see, there's a new folder there called Node Modules. If you open that, it's got a whole list of bits, libraries and extensions and things like that we can use or not use depending on what we want. But that's all running there. That, if you look at the git ignore, will be in the git ignore thing, in the git ignore file. So the .gitignore file means that everything in here will not get uploaded when you do a git push to upload your file later on. So it won't upload all those files because they're already there. You don't want to download them and upload them, download them, upload them, because A, it takes a hell of a long time, and B, it's unnecessary use of resources. So just completely ignore that for the moment. But anything you don't want to get uploaded, anything you want to keep secret, or for example, if we're going to do anything that requires unique codes and passwords and things like that, you want to put those into an env file, a .env file or env file, and then put that env file like that. See that one there? In here, so that it doesn't, you can have env local and all that sort of thing, and that'll keep everything on your local host private. And then what you can do is go onto the cell code, and you can put those passwords, etc., into the Vercel code env directory, so you can put env values in there. I will do that. I'll come to that later on in another video, but that's just a rough estimate. Okay, so I can ignore that for the time being. What we want to do first is go to the public file. All these SVG files. I was going to say DVDs. All these SVG files, you can delete those. Control click delete and move them to the trash. You don't need any of those in there at all. Open the app folder, and you've got 3 files in there which we're going to play with at the moment. The icon there, we can change that later on, but at the moment that's just a standard icon that it gives you just so it doesn't break. We'll change that later on, and it doesn't have to be called fave icon. We can just delete that one, put our own ICO image in there, and it will go straight to that without having to worry about it. So it doesn't have to be called the same thing. Go to the global CSS folder. You can create your own CSS pages later on, but you don't need. If we're using Tailwind, you shouldn't really need to worry too much about that. Delete everything on that page apart from the Tailwind import at the top. You want to keep that, but get rid of everything else. Okay. Then once you've done that, save it, close it, done. Go to the layout page. On here, you can see it being imported there. So you know, because it's in the same folder, you've just got the /globals, and that goes straight to keeps it on the same level. Okay. You've got here a few. You've created a few variables, and we've actually assigned them the actual names of some fonts we've actually got from the system. They're actually Google fonts that NextjS has actually employed to actually get this thing up and running. Vercel have actually created that for us to make it nice and easy. So we'll have a play with these in another video. We can change the names, change the fonts and that sort of thing, but for the moment I'll leave those as is because they're just standard fonts. They'd be quite happy there. You've got here the fonts being used. As you can see, you've got the geese sans and the geese mono variables. They're the ones we created above, and that just tells the CSS we're going to be using those particular things, or the classes that we're going to be using those particular fonts. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that out of there. It's not totally necessary, but I like to put it in there because later on I'll be using the body. I can use the body for my different class names, and it gets a bit cluttered if you start putting loads of bits and pieces in there. So I'll keep it simple like that. It still works exactly the same, but for this instance, that's good enough. You see the word children. Children, we've got 3 lots there. What this does is any of your pages, like page.tsx there, or any of the pages we're going to create later, will go into whatever you've got in the page will be presented in your children variable. Okay, so we'll get it there and present it there. And that's all that one does. There's not a lot of code. It's only 4 lines of code, 5 lines of code for your entire website. So it's nothing to be, getting too upset about. So it's quite happy with that one. Going back to the page.tsx, TSX, TypeScript and JavaScript. Okay. So what we're going to do here is if you click on that little arrow there like that and just delete the whole caboodle, and we can create our own div like so. And on here we can call this home page. Okay. Nice and easy. You've got an import at the top there. We don't need that. It's a good idea to remove any imports you don't need, because if you're importing things, it can add weight to the page, and also it might cause an error later on. With the home page, it probably might not show up, so I'll just put some classes on there to guarantee it. And in this instance, you've got to use camel case, starting off with a lowercase class, uppercase N, and name. So that's capital case. If you had Pascal case, you have the capital C, capital N, but this is camel case. Okay, and then here we're going to use Tailwind classes, and we just use BG there, black. Okay, and that's just basically what it says, background black. And then we do another one, and we're going to do text white. Okay. Now with these, if you wanted to, you can say, for example, do a /, and then it comes up automatically on here with all these different variables, like values like 25, 30, 35, 40. What the number is the alpha value, and the alpha value is the opacity. Okay, I won't put it on here. I'll just leave it as solid black. But if I was to put it like /30, that'll be 30% black. So it'll be like a thin grey. So whatever color or picture or something behind it will come through. Okay, but I'll leave that as black at the moment, so I'll just save that. If we now go to so if we now do npm run dev return, okay, that'll come up with this, and that if it looks like that, that's fine, it's worked. See where it says localhost 3000 there, if you do command click on it, it'll open it up in your browser, and you can see there the word homepage on a white text on a black background. Not particularly fancy, but it's your page and it's working. Okay, so going back to this one again, if you want to create another page, so for example we want to do an about page, you have to do this with a folder. So if you create a new folder, so what you do, control click, and it'll give you a list of all the options, and you can call that page.tsx. Oh no, so I'm doing wrong, I'm getting carried away here. About, okay, that's the name of the folder, and then inside that we call that page.tsx. Okay, so the about folder, and in the folder you've got about page.tsx. One of the benefits of doing it like this is you can put other things in here as well. So you can put in here another layout, and that'll supersede this one. So if we create a layout here that's going to have some custom, custom values, and we don't want it to be in this particular one, we can create another one there to override that one. That's one of the useful things about it. And also you can put a CSS folder in there as well, and then link the CSS folder to that particular page. Plus also you can create other things in there as well, other little functions and bits and pieces, and it just be associated only with the about structure. Now because this code here is going to be exactly the same as that one, I'll copy that and paste it there. Okay, and then this time I'll go to home, I'll double click on the word home, and then do Command D rather, like that a couple of times, and it will select all the home page, or the home word, and then change that to about. Okay, nice and easy, quick way, another little quick tool to actually get around it. That might not seem much there, but if you've got a page with, say for example, like 300 or 400 lines of code on it, and you want to find out all the words that begin with, or all the words in there that begin with about, then you do that, Control D as many times as you need to find them all. It will jump back to the beginning again when it's finished. Then you can change them all universally rather than having to trawl through the whole entire lot and find them individually. You have got a search system on here as well, there, called finding files, and this can do the same things. Okay, and it'll go through the whole lot, give you a list of pages with the about in there, and you can click on exactly where they are and change them exactly the same way. Or you could do find and replace and do through that the entire website. Okay, so now that should now work on your page website. So if you go to localhost 3000, do about, and go there, it's gone to the about page. So that's it. So now you've got two pages. You've got the home page and you've got the about page. No navigation, nothing fancy, nothing, just basic straightforward setup, boilerplate. So it's got you up and running. Now with this you can either play with what you got now, or you can move on to the next video where we'll put a basic navigation system in, and then we can go on to create a page there so you can view it using Tailwind. Okay.